So, let's look at perhaps some examples of how we might use this in our editing, in our own self-editing. So I have a very common example that I see a lot as an instructor, um, which is correct prepositions after verbs. This is something that can be very hard to master, difficult to master, and Corpus, the COCA website, gives us a way to see what options that we might have. So we have this sentence here. The study was conducted blank, Kwara State, North Central Nigeria, from January to August 2017. Uh, Perhaps you know what should go in the blank. Perhaps you know already which preposition should follow conducted here. But let's imagine for a second that you're not sure. Well, again, we can look at this. So I'm going to go back to the corpus and I'm going to search conducted. I'm going to click part of speech. I'm going to insert preposition, right? And I actually, let's just further limit this to just academic language even further, okay? So, um, so these are my results. Now you can see right away that there are many options that you might have in terms of a preposition to follow conducted, right? So what you would want to do, again, if you click these, it takes you to a context. You can see further context. You can start to deduce by the context, does this context match what you want to say, right? So after some examinations of this, you might determine that the correct preposition in this context should be in. This study was conducted in Kwara State, North Central Nigeria. So let's take a look at a slightly different example in how we can use the list function to determine revisions. So right here we have a short sentence. Therefore, farmers are experimenting to find out appropriate agronomic practices, on-farm water management or irrigation techniques, and crop protection practices on their own. Looking at this, you might say to yourself, what's wrong with this sentence? Well, grammatically speaking, nothing is wrong with this sentence. However, you'll notice I highlighted and bolded find out. Find out is a phrasal verb, and you may or may not be aware that generally speaking, academic language doesn't typically use a lot of phrasal verbs. So perhaps you look at this and you're like, could I use find out? Is there a different alternative? Is there something more appropriate for academic writing? Well, you can double check to see if that is correct. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go back to search, reset my search options. I want to search for find out. But I want to see all of the corpora. I want to see all of the subcorpora together, and I want to determine which context is this phrasal verb most likely to appear. If it has a lot of use in academic writing, I can be confident in knowing that using this word is an academic formal style of writing. So if I click find matching strings, here's my results. And again, I clicked that checkbox for sections, and this gives me that heat map. So just a quick glance, and I can see the most common context for this phrasal verb, find out, is TV and movies, followed by spoken language, and then the other genres. And in fact, the least common context where I would find this phrasal verb is academic writing, right? So what does this tell me? Well, this tells me if I go back to my original sentence, I might say to myself, you know what? I want to be more formal in my writing. I want to sound a little bit more academic. So what I want to do now is perhaps replace that find out with a more academic formal, perhaps a one-word verb in this place. So what are my options? I could say, well, I could say experimenting to determine, experimenting to investigate. All of those are synonyms of find out. And so perhaps I would want to replace that phrasal verb with something a little bit more formal and academic. So those are some examples of how I might use this list function to do some editing strategies and to perhaps either check my writing to see if it is academic or formal, or perhaps to find options in vocabulary, or to find correct grammar forms in my writing as well. So I want to end this video. If you feel comfortable and confident in this, you may stop this video now. However, I do have two practice problems that I want you to, if you would like some additional practice, I will go through the answers. So each of these two sentences has some kind of an error or phrase in the phrasing, and I've marked these errors in red. So what I want you to do, pause this video and use the list search function to find an appropriate revision. When you are finished, you may unpause this video and I will go over some of the answers. So go ahead and at this time, pause this video. Okay, so let's take a look at what you might have found. So take a look at number one. Considering these bad effects, actions need to be implemented to stop the acceleration of ocean acidification. So what I'm going to do, let's just search. Let's see what you found, right? I'm going to type in bad effects. And what I might be concerned about is this academic? Is it precise language, right? Is it formal language? Well, in this case, I don't know about that. So what I want to do is I actually want to look for sections. I want to see how this phrase occurs in different sections. So if I find the matching strings, right away I can see, number one, it is used very infrequently. In all the corpora, this phrase is used only 138 times in a billion words. So that tells me right there, this phrase is not used very frequently. In fact, it is most used on blogs and websites, and that's not very academic. So what could I do? Well, going back to the list function, I might know that bad is an adjective, and so I want to look for more appropriate adjectives to describe effects, right? So I want to go adjective, effects. And for an added bonus, I actually want to look at it in only academic contexts. So again, I have sections. I'm only searching for academic. I want to find the most common adjectives to describe effects. So again, and here we go. Right away, I can see a lot more frequency, right? So I know that all of these are used much more frequently just in the academic context than bad effects, right? Bad means negative, right? It's a negative connotation. So I might go through here. I can see what options do I have? Negative effects, adverse effects, maybe, deleterious effects if you want to be even smarter. So there are a lot of different options in our academic choices that we can use that are much better and more precise than just bad. So let's look at that second option. So the second sentence, there are still many same natural videos. So perhaps you looked at this and you saw right away that perhaps this is grammatically incorrect. But maybe you were just not sure. But if you go here, and I'm just going to do a simple search, many, same. Many, same. Okay, so first thing I notice, two instances. I highly doubt that people are trying to say something like this only twice in 1 billion words. So right there, that tells me that something is amiss. Something is not quite right here. And here, many same-sex couples, right? So that's not even the same context. So one of these we can eliminate right away. So you might determine that same is the incorrect word form. So you might go to other resources that you have to determine what different word form could we use here. If it's not found in the corpus, there's a good chance that it's just not something that we say or use in a more natural English environment. So you might decide to revise this to say many similar nature videos, right? So these are just two examples of further ways to improve your writing. So with that, I will end this video for today. I want to thank you for paying attention and stay tuned for further videos discovering other ways to use these search functions in COCA. Thank you very much.